Now at 6 and streaming on crossroadstoday.com. In Dallas, a child fatally shot. Now authorities investigating how the shooting started.
Hunter Biden pleads not guilty to 9 felony and misdemeanor tax charges, the latest developments this evening.
Plus, we continue diving into the mayoral candidates' personalities beyond their policy platforms as we introduce another candidate.
And first, we're going to have the big wind, which is tomorrow, and then we're going to have the big chill, which is Monday. And so you got to get ready for bone-chilling cold. We'll be talking about that coming up in just a moment.
And another massive story of a legend parting ways. I'll have that in sports.
You're watching 25 News now at 6. Good evening and thank you for joining us. I'm Don Brubaker.
And I'm Karina Garcia. Victoria County Sheriff's deputies traveled to a state jail facility in Bexar County to take custody of 46-year-old Mark Fernandez Jr. He was transported to the Victoria County Jail on a charge of aggravated sexual assault of a child. He is charged with numerous other sexual offenses against children under the age of 14. He remains in custody without bond. DPS took 25-year-old Mark Ayano of Port Lavaca into custody Wednesday in Cameron County. He faces charges of injury to a child, a probation violation, and engaging in organized criminal activity. Both were Victoria County warrants. He is in the Victoria County Jail in lieu of a $40,000 bond.
36-year-old Cody Barnett of Universal City was arrested by a Victoria County Sheriff's deputy Wednesday. Barnett was taken into custody in the 200 block of North Bridge Street on a Victoria County warrant for arson. That's a probation violation. He is in the Victoria County Jail with no bond set. The Hallettsville Police Department reports Bradley K. Pustuyevsky has been safely located. His family said he left his house on January 9th to go to the hospital but had not returned. He is now safe. He was last seen driving his gray Ford F-150. 22-year-old Isaac Lopez of El Campo pleaded guilty to aggravated assault causing serious bodily injury. The El Campo Leader News reports Lopez fired shots into a home in El Campo during a child's birthday party on November 22nd, 2022. 2 people were hit by gunfire. Lopez was given a 5-year prison sentence.
We recently had all of the mayoral candidates live on 25 News Now to hear their various platforms. Now we're giving you a chance to learn more about their character and personality. We asked all of the mayor candidates the same 4 questions. Our first question was for them to show us an important item in their home or office.
Number 2, talk to me about your dream job when you were a child. Number 3, if you're elected mayor, what is your greatest fear? And finally, what is your favorite quote and why?
My favorite quote is Abraham Lincoln. Is you can please some of the people some of the time, but you can't please all the people all the time. You know, that's in real life today. I mean, we hope that we can please, you know, everybody. I don't think it'll ever happen. Be a peace officer, and I went ahead and I fulfilled that dream. I found out it didn't make much money, so I went on to the private sector. And about 18 years ago, I got into the limousine industry, and I have been in this industry ever since. My biggest fear is that I won't be able to accomplish what I want to accomplish. If I got mayor, I hope that we would all be able to work together for the common interests of the people. It's never about us. It never will be about me. Is that it will be always about the people of this community. My children and grandchildren is that I'm very proud of all of them. The love that you get from your grandkids, it's like being a parent all back over again. That is just the light of my life.
That was Robert Bob Constantine. Also on the ballot, Josephine Solis, Jacob Salceda, Peter Brown, Carissa Winters, and Dwayne Crocker. Early voting starts January 17th and runs through January 30th. Join us Saturday, February 3rd for complete coverage of this special mayor election.
The Republican women of the Yoakum area are hosting a GOP candidates forum this Saturday at the Yoakum Community Center, 105 Huck Street. The forum starts at 6 p.m.
AEP Texas says it's preparing for an approaching cold snap. The storm is predicted to affect all districts in the AEP Texas service territory. AEP Texas says its crews are taking steps to prepare for freezing temperatures and possible scattered outages. All AEP Texas districts are on alert. All crews are on standby and are prepared to respond. AEP Texas advises that many downed power lines should be considered live and dangerous.
Updated information on 2 warming centers opening in Victoria Sunday. The warming center at First United Methodist Church, 407 North Bridge Street, will open at 2 p.m. Sunday. It will close at 8 a.m. Wednesday. The church is collecting donations of bottled water, individually packaged snacks, light throw blankets, or socks. The Salvation Army of Victoria headquarters, 1302 North Lewis Street, opens as a warming center anytime the temperature drops below 35 degrees or below 30 degrees in wind chill. The emergency shelter will be open from 4:30 p.m. to 7 a.m. When the church center closes Wednesday, they will go to the Salvation Army.
And now let's take a look at your forecast with Chief Meteorologist Mac Perez.
Well, thank you very much. Yes, folks, hopefully everybody got the message that we're getting ready for the big chill. Now, tomorrow it actually starts when the first frontal system comes through early before sunrise on Friday morning. Notice right about here, this is right at sunrise. You can see we're not going to get much in terms of rain out of this, which is good, but behind it, we're going to get a 30 to 40 mile an hour wind. Now, trees, branches, power lines, all those things are, shall we say, susceptible. But then on Monday morning is when the big chill rolls in, and we're going to be looking for winter coats. We'll talk more about that coming up in just a moment.
A 6-year-old girl was shot and killed at a home in Dallas Wednesday. It happened just before 3 p.m. Police say the girl was with several other children when a gun went off. Investigators are not sure how the child was actually shot. She was taken to a hospital, but there was nothing emergency workers could do. An investigation into the shooting is underway. Former President Donald Trump was granted an opportunity to speak for 5 minutes in the courtroom during his civil fraud trial in New York City today. The judge telling Trump that he was granting permission for him to speak, but that he must stick to the law and the facts in the case. However, Trump delivered a long series of insults. Trump then telling the judge that he is a, quote, innocent man, unquote, and that the lawsuit brought by Attorney General Letitia James is, quote, a fraud on me, unquote, adding that they should pay him for what he's gone through. And at one point, the judge warning Trump's lawyers to, quote, please control your client, unquote. The prosecution is presenting its closing arguments later this afternoon.
This afternoon, President Biden's son Hunter Biden appeared in a California courtroom as he faces federal tax charges.
Hunter himself pleading not guilty to 9 felony and misdemeanor tax charges against him. This following his surprise visit yesterday at Capitol Hill, hearing on whether to hold him in contempt of Congress.
President Joe Biden's son, Hunter Biden, facing a Los Angeles judge today, entering a not guilty plea. Hunter arraigned on 9 federal tax-related charges accusing him of failing to pay $1.4 million in taxes from 2016 to 2020. The indictment alleges that Hunter earned millions of dollars from foreign entities and spent millions of dollars on an extravagant lifestyle at the same time he chose not to pay his taxes. The back taxes were eventually paid in 2020 by a third party, identified by ABC News as Hunter Biden's attorney and confidant, Kevin Morris.
Anything you want to say to the committee?
On Wednesday, Hunter surprising lawmakers on Capitol Hill, walking into a House Oversight Committee hearing where Republicans were preparing to hold him in contempt for refusing to testify behind closed doors. Hunter has said he will only testify in public.
The chairman refused to take yes for an answer from Hunter Biden.
His presence throwing the hearing into chaos.
Hunter Biden should be arrested right here, right now, and go straight to jail.
Let's take a vote. Who wants to hear from Hunter right now, today? Anyone?
During an interview on MSNBC, First Lady Jill Biden defending her stepson.
I think what they are doing to Hunter is cruel. And I'm really proud of how Hunter has rebuilt his life after addiction.
Hunter Biden's attorney claims the indictment includes no new evidence and says, based on the facts and the law, if Hunter's last name was anything other than Biden, the charges in Delaware and now California would not have been brought. Hunter Biden faces 17 years in prison if convicted. He has called these charges politically motivated. Meantime, a felony gun indictment against Hunter Biden was filed in September. Those charges he's pleaded not guilty to. He's even asked a judge to dismiss them. Melissa Adon, ABC News, Los Angeles.
A South Texas Regional Job Fair was held today in Cuero. The job fair was at the Cuero Municipal Park Clubhouse, 201 Leonard Roy Harmon Drive. It was co-sponsored by Yoakum and Hallettsville. The South Texas Job Fair is an opportunity for job seekers to find their next career move and for businesses to recruit the region's top talent. Job seekers can meet face-to-face with local employers, explore job opportunities, and grow their network and make valuable connections, all for free. Victoria residents will face another election after approving property tax cuts in last November's election. As part of that new law, voters in Texas' 50 largest counties will now elect 3 new members of their respective property appraisal district boards. Victoria is the 44th biggest county in Texas, so this May, Victoria voters will be asked to elect candidates in the new political positions within their appraisal districts.
And critics have raised concerns about this possibly adding election costs and overall changing what was previously considered a non-political system. Bringing us to your viewer poll this evening, you can scan that QR code on your screen to vote. The question is, are you concerned with the potential impact of changes on property values and taxes? Yes or no? According to all results, it looks like 92% stand at yes and the remaining 8% stand at no. We want to keep on hearing from you. Come to crossroadstoday.com/vote to take part. And of course, we're going to have an update on 25 News Now at 10. Next Monday is the Martin Luther King March and Program. The march starts at 10 a.m. and begins at the Martin Luther King Park on 3808 Callis Street. It will then end at St. Peter's Baptist Church, where a program celebrating MLK will take place. Guest speaker and civil rights attorney Matthew Manning will be attending the program.
Remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Crossroads Today. Hit the like button and click the notification bell so you can see Crossroads Today on YouTube. And stay with us. In Florida, results of a human trafficking operation end with over 120 arrests. Coming up on 25 News Now at 6. Among those arrested include a former science teacher, a nurse, and a basketball coach.
Also ahead in San Antonio, a new demand rises for certified death doulas. The details on that straight ahead.
In Florida, Hillsborough County Sheriff Chad Chronister unveiled the outcome of Operation Renewed Hope Thursday, where more than 120 arrests were made over the past 90 days. Some of those arrests include a former science teacher, a nurse, and a basketball coach. Detectives conducted undercover streetwalker, hotel, and motel operations, as well as targeting predators preying on minors online, where undercover investigators posed as minors available for sex and family members selling kids for sex. The sheriff says the most alarming trend they saw, the possession of firearms by some of these people.
If the sexual exploitation is not damaging enough, who knows what their true intentions were with the firearms they possessed.
Since the Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office created the Human Trafficking Unit in 2021, there have been more than 600 arrests and 28 victims have been rescued.
The teenager charged in the New Year's Eve machete attack on 3 New York City police officers is pleading guilty. Trevor Bickford changed his plea to guilty on 6 of the 7 accounts, including attempted murder and assault of an officer. The Maine 19-year-old allegedly approached one of the officers from behind and struck him in the head with a large knife, then attacked 2 other officers in the same manner. He faces a maximum of 120 years in prison when he's sentenced on April 11th. He was joined by a teary-eyed family, including his mom, stepdad, and 2 aunts. He's also told the judge he's under psychiatric treatment. While many are familiar with the concept of birth doulas, these are people actually dedicated to supporting mothers during childbirth. But one community is now witnessing a unique initiative on the other end of life's spectrum.
In Northeast San Antonio, the Abode Contemplative Care for the Dying Home introduces a groundbreaking program. It's a certification for death doulas.
Being a death doula is one of the most important roles that people can serve. It calls for a unique person to be with someone as they're dying.
The Death Doula Certification Program takes place at Abode. It's a peaceful home in Northeast San Antonio where people come for end-of-life care.
Here at Abode, you don't die alone. You're here, cared for. People take an interest in you.
Sarah and Rachel are helping Patricia make that transition. Rachel is a recent graduate of the program, which they say is the only class in the country with hands-on training.
As Abode doula students, you can be here and put what you're learning into actual practice.
And as our population continues to age, there's more of a need for that support of people who are dying. For some people, that means being surrounded by loved ones, having their favorite music playing, being with the dying person as they're dying, educating them on the different stages of death and what to expect at each stage.
It's positioning San Antonio as a leader in the end-of-life field. It's a great honor to help walk people home.
Last year was the hottest ever recorded in Texas based on average temperature. The Texas Tribune reports NOAA data shows the average temperature in Texas measured 68.1 degrees last year. That's 0.3 degrees higher than the previous record in 2011. The June 24th high of 119 degrees in the Big Bend National Park was 1 degree below the state's all-time daily record.
And Texas led the nation with the most billion-dollar weather and climate disasters in 2023. The National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration reports that of 28 weather and climate disasters in the U.S. last year, 16 affected the Lone Star State, costing more than $20 billion in shared losses with neighboring regions. Texas also leads the nation in cumulative costs since 1980 with destructive storms, with over $402 billion in losses.
Very interesting statistics, and you know, as values go up, buildings go up, losses go up as well, and so any kind of disaster, which is now the new normal, we're going to be dealing with. Well, folks, it's a 71 degrees out there right now, but I'll tell you, the big news is that we have an alert day for Monday for a hard freeze and possible ice around here. We'll be talking more about that coming up in just a moment. Well, I've been talking about this for 7 days, folks, and hopefully everybody's got the message that you're going to need a winter coat very soon. We have an alert day already up for Monday, okay? On Monday, all of the crossroads, we're going to be looking at a hard freeze for about 3 mornings of below freezing, but near 20-degree temperatures. And we may even have a possibility of ice on Monday. I'll be talking about that over the next few minutes. What we are looking at is morning low temperatures around 40 degrees tomorrow morning. 45 on Saturday morning, 40 on Sunday, and then 23 on Monday and 22 on Tuesday, and even Wednesday is going to be down into the 20s. So daytime highs barely in the upper 30s to 40 degrees. If you need to know how to wrap your pipes if they're outdoors. If they're exposed to the air, they'll likely freeze. Metal is going to lose heat faster than dirt, okay? Your tender vegetations or your prized petunias, shelter for your outdoor pets and even your large barn animals. And then if you can take the water out of your sprinklers any way you can, because the water lines will freeze if they're full of water. So tomorrow, being Friday, we've got the first front coming through, and you can see that early in the morning, that little line, you're probably not going to notice it, is overnight, going to blow through here and then just go. So by sunrise tomorrow, the winds will be blowing like this at about 30 to maybe even 40 miles an hour. So trees, limbs hitting buildings, power lines may be susceptible to all of that wind that's going to be rolling through the area. Then your Saturday is not bad, but then we wait for the next big thing, and that's our storm. It's actually not Monday, it's actually Sunday night when the cold air will start rolling in. So here's the first one. It's already in northern New Mexico. That's going to blow through here, and it's already triggering some light rain up in North Texas. Now, we don't expect any of that to be a problem for us, but let's look at Future Tracker and figure out how this is going to work. Okay, lows there, rolls across, frontal system goes through. That one's gone by tomorrow afternoon, but the winds will be the problem. Now we go from your Friday on to your Saturday. Frontal system enters North Texas. Cold air is now tapping in from the Arctic. Remember, the storms that we had all winter were basically coming at us from the west. This was going to tap into the colder air up north, and that's going to pull it down. So then the frontal system starts rolling very close to our area, and you can see here that we're on Sunday night. Let's see, Sunday p.m. There will be some snow in North Texas. If you're going up for the weekend, consider that. Now, Monday morning is the big concern because we have a layer of possible snow in Dallas. We have a layer of possible ice right here as the temperature is dropping as the front goes through of ice that gets very close to our area. Now, that's Austin to maybe Lufkin, maybe as far south as, I don't know, the I-10 corridor. And then rain below that. But that's Monday. It's going to be an ugly, raw, cold, windy day. And then Monday night, all that blows away. But the problem is the cold air sinks. It's going to be dry, but boy, is it going to be cold as temperatures are going to be dropping down into the 20s. So for tomorrow, we're looking for a 60, and we were 70 today. We'll be 60 tomorrow because of the wind coming in. We'll be at 59 in Cuero coming in. And then again, we talk about it like this. First the wind. Okay for Saturday. Sunday night, cold air blows. And then on Monday, we're only looking for a high of 37, and we're looking for some 20s there. So Karina's going to be looking for her winter coat. That's your 7-day forecast, reminding everybody we do have a QR code. We love for you to scan that, put Crossroads today, and we'll get all the weather bulletin information to you. Karina, are you ready?
We've had this conversation. I am so ready for that winter breeze to just come in so I can, bring out my very expensive coat that I've been stocking up for a while. All right, well, now let's pass it on to Zach Brown with your sports.
We've got some soccer updates and maybe the greatest coach of all time who used a bunch of winter coats. Moving on, I'll have that in sports. It's been talked about for a large portion of the year, but it's official. After 24 years, 6 Super Bowl titles, the greatest coach in NFL history is leaving the New England sideline. Bill Belichick and the Patriots, after a series of conversations, have mutually parted ways. Instead of sadness, Belichick says this day is a day of gratitude and celebration. Before he addressed the media, he said he hadn't seen this many cameras in his face since they signed Tim Tebow. Bill thanked everyone in the organization and credited his success to the player, saying they win the ball games, and his greatest player ever, that being Tom Brady, feels the same way about him, saying he's grateful to have played for the greatest coach ever and says he could have never been the player he was without him. The UHV Jags hit the field for the first time this year as they get ready to defend their Red River Athletic Conference Championship. Lots of anticipation for the new year, and head coach Jonathan Stavanoa says that they are excited to have everybody back home. Getting on the field today felt like we picked up right where we left off. The team has a lot of motivation and drive to move forward as one team and build off the successes of 2023. January 26th is right around the corner, and we cannot wait to represent Victoria and the university to the best of our abilities. And he ends it with a Go Jags. Another team that hit the field today, the Calhoun girls took on Wharton. The Sandies did get the win 3-2. Claire Flores scored 2 goals. The third came from Ella Vasquez. Ella also had 2 assists on the afternoon. The other one came from Milady Anzaldua. Sticking with soccer, 2 area teams ranked. El Campo boys come in at number 12 and the Calhoun Sand Crabs ranked at number 26. Both of those teams almost met in the semifinals last year to go to state, but they do play each other this year because they are district rivals. The first game will be February 6th. The second will be March 1st. And it's not March yet, but the madness has begun. Don Brubaker, close your eyes. The last unbeaten team, the Houston Cougars, fell the other evening in Iowa State. Houston actually tied that game with less than a minute to go, but the Cyclones would regain the lead with only a half minute to play on a tough fall away jumper. That wasn't the only upset. Number 3 Kansas at UCF, who just joined the Big 12. Sellout crowd there. How about your first ever Big 12 win, and it's over the Jayhawks? Not going to keep them off the court. Down goes number 3. And in Nebraska, the top-ranked Boilermakers fall big time to the Huskers. Another storming of the courts. Final score in that one, 88-72. So down goes number 1. The top 3 teams all fall in the same week, so the Cougars not alone. Derek Stingley, the Texans corner, AFC Defensive Player of the Month, and the Astros have reached a $12 million agreement with Kyle Tucker, avoiding arbitration. That's it for your sports. Donna Karina, back to you.
Zach, thank you. We're going to be back in a moment. Arkansas is a prime location to watch the total solar eclipse on April 8th.
And finally tonight, the countdown is on to the April 8th total solar eclipse. And Arkansas is in the path of totality. While hotels, Airbnbs, and bed and breakfast accommodations might already be booked up, campgrounds are still an option. Hoping to avoid problems, the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers Little Rock Division is opening sites earlier than normal on March 15th. Hoping to provide more places for people to stay. They're opening campgrounds on March 15th for an April 8th total solar eclipse. That's a long camp out.
Yeah, I don't know if I want to wait that long. It's a 20-minute experience, but You going to be there a month?
Yeah, we don't have to wait long
But
for.
it's the camping, you
yeah.
know, that people.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's a family thing,
Oh,
right?
It's a family thing.
No,
Oh.
not that long.
Camping, that's a long time. Anyway,
How strong are the winds tonight?
Tonight, not bad. By sunrise, however, they will be very windy. Tomorrow's going to be kind of a howling kind of day. I call it a two-can day, Don. That's 2 cans of hairspray because it's going to be that windy. We're looking for 25 to 35 mile an hour winds, maybe some gusts up to 40. We could have some wind problems tomorrow, but then the big chill begins on Sunday night.
Thank you. We'll get you a box of Fruit Loops. All right. Thanks for joining us.
We'll see you tonight at 10.
That's 2 cans.